minutes out. All right, sound is on for YouTube, just so everyone knows.
No more cussing.
Nope.
Or do it at home.
Yes. But I just told them,
Okay, so your picture of the wine walk stuff, how was it?
It was fun, but it was so hot. Oh, and I'm not a big wine drinker, so it was like. Oh, we made it to the Kikaski
I was
Smoker.
very going through.
Oh, fun.
Had a
It's like
delicious
two Asian
burger there.
hamburgers. There are so many pieces of paper in there. Yes, ma'am. I think we might have your, I think you better open it up. Okay. You may know the stuff already.
Can I have 6 o'clock on my computer?
I'd like to call order the City of Mayville Finance Committee, the whole meeting, October 6, 2025, 6 p.m. Take the roll.
Alderperson DeBaker.
Here.
Alderperson Smith.
Here.
Alderperson Henkel. Alderperson Leibnow. Alderperson Newman.
Here.
Alderperson Olson is excused.
Number 2, citizens' comments. I need citizens' comments. Seeing none, we go to number 3, discuss with possible action. 3A, review of proposed 2026 clerk and elections budgets.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of start,
Yeah.
give us a better overview of the budget right now.
You do it.
So the budget deficit has actually gone up from last week. I had $41,000 in there. Now it's at $62,828. That has changed because there was a miscommunication. I was mistaken on how much money was going to be funded for the library. So that's why it's up higher than what initially was recommended. And then we also received our notice today for our property insurance premiums. That will increase 20%, whereas the budget had anticipated a 10% increase. And just doing calculations, I haven't changed it in the budget yet. It looks like it's about $16,000 more. And then other things to think about, we still have things on the parking lot with the PD and their supplies and then internet phone costs. So that's kind of like where we're at. And then before Annie reviews her clerk budget, I want to note that there are some accounting changes affecting both the clerk and the controller budget. You'll see a decrease in the clerk's budget due to some movement around. I am taking on the special assessments. Prior to that, they were in the clerk's budget as well. They were reported under the public record fees, and I'm taking on the dog licensing as well. So you'll see that there's a decrease, but it's being moved over to the controller.
Because historically, her office has handled it anyway, so it should be reflected in her department's revenue as opposed to mine. Yeah, and there's no large updates in my budget. The largest you'll see really pertains to an election, just because it's a 4-election year. So we have to allocate appropriately for that. Publication fees went up previously. We were not publishing our minutes. We are required to by state law. So that has obviously increased. We've done our best to estimate what that will come in at. I do stay in pretty good contact with the newspapers. They do have some rates set by the state. So wherever I can just have a line of legal entered into the paper, it's the most cost-effective way to do so. Other than that, we've got some more in training. Obviously, myself and Deputy Hunt, just making sure we both can get training in throughout the year, but that only went up about 22%. Otherwise, I don't think there should be much of note. Unless you have any questions for me. Mine's many pages shorter than everyone else.
Just so the 190% on your elections, I mean, that's pretty accurate right now where you need to be.
Yes,
Or
I'm comfortable.
shortfall beforehand?
I think I'm comfortable with my elections numbers. I am pretty good about going back and looking at past years with similar elections. Obviously, when we had the presidential, that's a huge outlier. But the gubernatorial this year could turn out some pretty substantial numbers.
So you're okay with the recommended budget for?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the budget for the clerk.
I'll second that.
Bob Smith first, Anthony DeBaker second. You want to take a roll on that?
Absolutely. Alderperson Smith,
Aye.
Alderperson DeBaker.
Aye.
Alderperson Henkel,
I,
Alderperson Lehnow.
Aye.
Alderperson Newman.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3B, review of the treasurer's budget.
And so as you see, I do have the dog license and the special assessments recorded in there. You don't see the back dates in there because it's a new account. There isn't too much. I am requesting more for my training and membership dues. Last year, as I was new, I didn't anticipate or didn't really know where I was going to go and what was beneficial for me. So the main places I like to, my conferences in education, I like to go through the WFGOA and MTAW spring conferences. So that's pretty much the difference. Also, contracted services has gone down. We have now have a contract for CLA and their expenses are a little less.
So other than that, everything remains the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
Eileen and all that fits in?
Yep, she's in the wages.
Okay. So you're happy with the recommended budget for your department?
Yes, I am.
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's budget.
I'll second it.
Mr. Smith first, Hinkle second. Take the roll.
Alderperson Smith,
Aye.
Alderperson Henkel,
I,
Alderperson DeBaker.
Aye.
Alderperson Newman,
Aye.
Alderperson Lehnow.
Aye.
Motion carries.
On the 3C, review the proposed 2026 library budget. Should I have a proposed and a
Yes.
regular?
To put together a little booklet, if you haven't been over to the library, you should come and take a look, get a card. In there, you'll find some of the offerings that we provide for the citizens of Mayville and the surrounding area. We are going to be approaching in a little less than 2 weeks our second anniversary, and we're still a work in progress.
Maybe just go over some of the more expenses that you have.
Yes, of course. So we are asking for a little bit more than the proposed budget. Our biggest asks are in our wages line of $128,000. We are looking to expand a position. Currently, we have a programming manager who is working about 2/3 time rather than full-time. She's looking to step down, and we would like to expand our program offerings and expand that position to a full-time position, which would obviously increase our wages. And then there are a couple of other lines, the contracted services as well as the building maintenance line. Our building is large, as you guys know, so we're still trying to figure out, what it costs to maintain the building. After doing a half-year look at what we've spent so far and getting supplies, our contracted services, I feel comfortable with the two numbers proposed, with 4,000 for the contracted services and 4,200 for building maintenance, which is any supplies that come necessary.
We've also been about 6 months now without a director, so we have unspent monies in our first line of salary, which we would like to move forward to help fund that 128 staffing.
We're asking for about $35,000 more than our 2025 budget, and we are looking to have a surplus of about 38,000 that will go back into the general fund after 2025.
And that's because you've been without that
Yes,
position?
yes, we have been without a director since about March, which is when I stepped in as the interim director.
We will be getting our new director on board, I believe, about November 1st.
Yes, yes, and in that 38,000, my extra wages plus the director working the last 3 months of the year, we're taking out of that to equal that $38,000 number.
Does your extra for doing the great job you've been doing as acting director, does that disappear at the end of the year?
Yes, it is supposed to disappear when the new director comes. I am asking the board to keep my pay, but that is definitely the board's decision.
It'll be addressed at Thursday's library board.
Okay.
We'll know more.
Well,
So that $38,000 that you want to carry forward with the new position, wouldn't that just increase the budget next year by $38,000?
Yes, I wanted to, just to get my due diligence out there, it's up to you as a council, if you like to do that, but then that's gonna still create a new deficit every year, unless it was like a one-time spent, there's something like that to be set for to borrow from the general fund, or however you wanna do it, but it will remain a deficit unless.
it normally gets turned back into the general fund, but this time we can
Yes.
direct it to the
You can do that as,
library.
yep, a one-time. I mean, our general fund balance right now is, from our 2025 budget is at 24%. Typically, you want to stay between 20 and 25% of your general fund balance. And right now, I kind of did an estimate on where we stand now with our unassigned fund balance and expenditures. And we're sitting at about 23% of our general fund balance.
So the increase in the salaries would be a little more than offset by the credit if we take it for the past. Okay. Have you allowed for any savings to City Hall for handling the elections? You must have extra expenses for heat and lights and other things like that you wouldn't ordinarily have. Or you haven't budgeted that?
We
you
don't
haven't-
make a charge to the city for anything like that.
No, they do
No,
not.
they don't. Okay, so it's just a freebie for the city.
Correct.
Yes. It gets a lot of people into the library too. Yes, on election days and any really city sanctioned events that happen at the library, we can see anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 patrons in that day, when our normal daily average doesn't really exceed about 200 patrons.
There are also events during the year too, where we get a lot of people in. The Easter basket hunt afterward goes there for the prize distribution, and there's in excess of 500 people there.
Yes, I believe it was, yeah, something like 6 something. I do host the AP testing in the library as well. A few other events, and then room rentals are starting to really ramp up. Thank you, Annie, for directing some people to me. We have quite a few room rentals over the next couple of months as well.
Well, this is kind of a funny situation because ordinarily it would just be a clean, you accept the recommended budget by the mayor. But in this case, there's a little bit, Mayor, what's your opinion? Should this be put on a parking lot to finish it up, or should it just be?
Well, I think at this point, we're 78,000 in the hole, and you gotta cut 78,000 out of the budget. I think that, the budget I proposed for the library with a little bit of extra for some wages, I think that's where they need to be.
Well, that's, in other words, you're not willing, okay. So now we're at a kind of an impasse, so I think we,
You got 78,000 bucks you gotta cut.
from where? From the total budget?
That's a good question. We're coming down to the wire here. We don't have much more departments to cut, so
Oh, we have some plans to spend a lot of money, we might cut those.
that
Anyway.
that won't save it on the budget, buddy.
I know, but it doesn't, you generally don't go out on the spending spree when you're short of funds. But anyway, that's just my opinion. So I will say we should put, how much of this, Nicole, should we put on the parking lot?
Oh, boy. I think that's up to you guys.
Okay.
Not mine.
Well, what were the items you were asking to go on the parking lot, Kendall?
Really, the wages is the biggest one that I can see. Other than that, everything else is relatively in line, or if not spot on with the mayor's proposed.
You've already addressed all the part-time employees and all of that has been switched over to the
Yes,
library,
It's typically just that one position, right?
county.
sorry?
The one position, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
So you can approve it and put that one position on the parking lot.
We could do that.
That's programming manager?
Yes,
Is that correct? Thank you.
and youth
Actually,
services.
it's youth services, children's, youth, and programming. It's a three-part job.
That's not, well, we can explain it when we get to it again, but that position is replacing somebody who will dramatically reduce their hours,
Yes,
as I understand it, and so it almost will pay for itself. But we will, I would suggest we put that on the parking lot, but the balance, I will make a motion to approve the balance for that item. Is this clear as mud?
Right.
Unless you
How
wanna
much is
approve-
that position adding to the budget?
that's a great question.
That's what I was trying to
So
figure out.
that difference is just very hard to calculate.
Okay. So. That is taking us from our current wages, of 102 to, it's about,
I'm seeing a reduction in wages, not an addition.
on ours, it's about, $16,000 added to the budget,
Plus benefits,
plus benefits,
it's not
yes.
48,000.
Okay.
That's 44,000.
I'm trying to think, 'cause you approved 319.
What's that?
You approved 319.
Right, what they're asking for.
So you're saying, I'm just trying to think how much would be on the parking lot, or do you want to just approve with what they have?
But what did they ask for?
We're asking for.
319
From the
No.
319, asking for 31,000 extra dollars.
extra.
Yeah, that's what,
Is that benefits figured in there?
I think, yeah,
Yes.
Kendall had a really good handle on that, yeah. Yeah, she had benefits in there. So I think if you're gonna do any parking lot, go with the mayor's budget, and then we'll kind of go up to 31,000 and more discuss it then. It's cleaner.
That's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
First by Bob Smith, second by Anthony Baker. It's a good roll.
Alderperson Smith,
Aye.
Alderperson Baker.
Aye.
Alderperson Henkel.
Aye.
Alderperson Lehnow.
Aye.
Alderperson Newman.
Aye,
Motion carries.
thank you. All right, moving moving forward, 3D, review the proposed 2026 utilities budget. Doing water first,
Sure.
all right.
See here, what we've gone through at, commission level, there's not a whole lot of changes, we're still running as, lean as humanly possible, through the utilities meetings, just trying not to fix anything that's gonna be replaced in the next 3 years of project as much as we possibly can get away with, so we're trying to run a lot of those things, significantly lower. One of the biggest things that looks like a pretty evident change in these budgets is in the past, the safe and clean drinking water loans were accounted for as a line item. So at the very bottom of your net total is gonna be where those payments are accounted for.
Pages in,
Very last page,
5.
yeah, so that net difference is where they're accounting for, loan payments to safe and clean drinking water.
So like 78 to 136.
Yep. And obviously, this year's gonna look a little different with, projects in both departments getting worked on here.
The sewer water.
Otherwise, really, I mean, in the categories for labor, those are gonna change every year because we never know is it a hydrant, is it the pump, is it the lift station? Those are all dependent on what broke from time to time. So those are always, they're in one category of wages, but each line item's gonna vary quite a bit as to where the work actually is applied to.
Is the admin telephone, that's the whacked out, what we were putting together of everything, right? It's like, it shows it's up 339%.
Yeah, but that's one account that I think, Nicole, is that an account you combined?
Yeah, it was a combined account plus, the fees are higher.
So some line items were eliminated, like it was split into 2 different phone accounts, so it was
Right,
condensed into
pushed
something.
into that,
Yeah, so there was quite a bit of that this year,
Yeah,
some of these
I
look
saw
a
it.
little strange.
there's like 600%.
Right, just trying to condense some of these really strange and outlier accounts.
In a couple of years, they'll be gone, you won't see them.
Hydrant wages, that was crazy, or OT was trans, operator wages, OT, that was like 600% or something.
Yeah, and that's one of them, you never know. I mean,
What's gonna go,
That's like 2 people drove into a hydrant last year instead of 1 the year before.
yeah. Any questions at all, any comments? You were pretty happy how this one came out?
Yeah, I think we are, we might have called this quite a few times.
Yes, we have.
And I think, or one of them that got a really large deduction from 2024, the DNR does not put out their list of required laboratory testing until about December is when we get that list. So last year when we budgeted, we were anticipating, they said we were gonna have a large PFAS testing increase, which is extremely expensive, and we tested out of that. So while we were looking at it being $10,000, we did 1 round of testing and they allowed us to get an exemption for that testing and test out of that. So that was a big savings. So obviously we did not budget that high amount again.
In the hydrant repairs, you have fairly significant increases that, like you were saying, they're just more expensive if you,
It's definitely more expensive. Like we repaired one in front of, I feel like we're getting down the list. We had some very risky hydrants in the last couple of years. A repair used to be maybe $4,000. Some of the ones we're trying to fix now, for example, we just repaired one in front of the middle school. I felt that had a pretty big sense of importance, having at least one fully functioning hydrant in front of the middle school. It involved, there was a concrete repair. We had to put an extra liter on it to have it sized appropriately. So that hydrant repair was $10,000 to $12,000 just to get that, where they used to be probably $4,000, but they're getting a little more involved, especially when there's concrete work involved in that.
And you have a list of items
Yeah,
you're trying to fix every year?
We're getting pretty close to the ones that we have had some urgency with, and we work with the fire department on that as well, like what they've seen where they don't feel as secure in areas.
Are you able to find any more of those obsolete ones that we used to keep in the shed and rebuild them?
Somebody just hit one on Friday, so we're getting that one repaired.
So you don't have any, sometimes there's a source for those you can find in other cities and stuff, but you haven't come
They don't
across
have
any of
them
those.
together. Yeah.
So we're only talking about the water part now?
Water right now.
I don't know, are you okay with what they have proposed for your budget for water?
Yeah, I feel like we've gone through it and put some good thought into each line item, put that way, best predictions we're able to make.
To play devil's advocate every which way we can think of to come up with numbers.
Mayor,
Yes, Bob?
are you talking funny on purpose?
I mean, the utility commission usually does a good job as
Okay.
Courtney on the thing. I don't know. Typically, if there's something
Sometimes, well,
that's
the sewer
concerning,
budget
and
might
most
be
of us are on
different.
that board now, right?
Yeah.
Looks like it's pretty much where it needs to be.
Pretty much.
I mean, I was asking you if you had any,
The water and sewer drop.
Yeah.
Budget actually went down from last year. So.
I was wondering if you had any contradiction to what they said about the
No, I
water.
think we're good.
Okay, all right, I'll make a motion to,
I'll second that.
okay?
So Bob first, I second. You want to take a roll?
And this is just for the water?
Just water.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Alderperson Smith,
Aye.
Alderperson Newman,
Aye.
Alderperson Lehno.
Aye.
Alderperson Henkel,
Aye.
Alderperson Baker.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Wastewater. You want to talk about that? Crazy?
Yeah, I think, let's see here, sewer connects is went from 3,700 to 15,000. This one's mostly impossible to predict because it's all based on what new connections, new businesses, new builds are going into town. So one year we had, I think 3 houses on Clark Street. We didn't know those were coming, but now we know Dayton Street, we know those anticipated costs of that, so that's very up and down every year. So we were fairly conservative on the future, the 2026 budget for that one, just anticipating that these projects will go through as scheduled. Postage was one that saw quite a bit of difference. I don't believe we found, it wasn't allocated it wasn't split into separated water and sewer budgets, so that's split appropriately.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That is correct.
And
Oh.
the rest,
How is the what do you call that stuff, our stockpile of,
the manholes, no pickles?
well, the manholes, how's that coming? You got most of those repaired?
Yeah, and
Sealed
so,
up.
yeah, the pick holes are pretty much close to eliminated, short of what a couple of size differences that we have to order. And then we've been putting, instead of these repairs and things like that, obviously into the plant, we've been trying to focus on putting them into buttoning up the infrastructure, like we did the linings and the manhole coatings that saved quite a bit of flow so far.
And hopefully they'll use less salt, so you won't have as much sodium. How about the cake? That was an issue, stockpiling the,
Sure, the sludge hauling will still be an issue until, there's a structure in the back of the plant right now where they're building the sludge storage. So once we can get that online is where we're gonna start seeing savings in the sludge facility, because currently we're hauling 8 times a week, whereas once that storage facility is built, we can haul twice a year instead of 8 times a week.
Okay.
It's gonna be good savings.
Is that reflected in this budget?
Not yet, we're not there yet. So we're hoping.
Next year.
I hope, it's hard to tell on that timeline, but they have to,
2 years, I think.
it's probably gonna look a little more like 2027 when you first start seeing the savings from the sludge storage going online.
Is there anything else in the works that might affect this sewer budget, like leachate or anything else? Have we finished the study on that, or are we just kind of,
I think
Still open.
we brought it back for more discussion for the next meeting.
I know you talked about it on the water side, but the equipment wages and the general plant wages,
Yep,
have big increases, what? can you
so if you look at them like categorically within that section, usually the bottom line is fairly level, but it just depends what, basically, we don't know what's gonna happen from day to day. We might get a call in for a lift station failure, it might be a failure at the plant, it could be a water main break, but we just don't know what's coming at us.
So have you gone over budget on this in previous years?
No, because it's how do you explain that? It's within that category. You see, like where there's a block category and there's individual line items, at the
Yep.
bottom, it actually shows, let's see here, like this is a wage category on page 3.
13%.
Yeah, so it's actually a 6.3% decrease when all of those wage categories are combined, does that make sense? Even though some of them look like they're over and some of them look like they're under.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a whole block category.
So from 831 down to 831 again,
Yeah,
33, negative 33, and 87 and a half up, it goes out to 33%.
yeah, they're always all over the place. Overall, though, our wage categories, our overtime is significantly down from, say, like, I don't know, starting 4 years ago or so, somewhere in there.
Besides you and Gwen, how many employees do you have? 6?
There's 2 water operators, 2 sewer operators, and 1 in the lab.
So so we don't have a combination deck that does sewer and water, we have them separated?
No, well, daily operations, sewer does sewer, basically, water does water, but they're all cross-trained to cover weekends and any emergency operations as well.
do you have any unusual expenses upcoming that might happen? Were you planning on doing some soil boring or testing for the site of the new?
Should be all done. Everything
Should
should
be all
be,
done?
yeah, all our soil testing, anything should be all done and over.
I thought there was a compaction issue or something.
And which would be rolled into the clean water fund as well.
Well, as the mayor says, the council, since it has taken 4 of the seats on the water commission, sewer commission, we seem to have a good handle on it, so I will, if you're happy with this, I will recommend that we accept the proposed budget of the water and sewer utility,
Wastewater,
waste.
I'll second that. You want to take a roll?
Absolutely. Alderperson Smith,
Aye.
Alderperson Newman,
Aye.
Alderperson Lehnow,
Aye.
Alderperson Henkel,
Aye.
Alderperson Baker.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Oh, number 4, anyone?
Well, before we adjourn, let's just summarize where we're at here.
Okay.
We need about $78,000 to do the project, and we're pretty much down to nothing at this point.
I mean, most of our, transportation aid shared revenue, they're all still less than that at this point, but they're pretty solid estimates if you ask me, they're usually pretty good at that, so I'm, anticipating other revenues. I don't see any surprises there, unfortunately, good surprises.
So
So
we had 132,000 roughly estimate that we increased our budget by, which is about 5% of the overall budget. I think that at some point, you probably have to sit down with EMS and discuss some two new positions they want to fund, where we're at with that. Unless you guys have some other ideas.
you said earlier, it's 62,000, now we're at 78 with the cut?
If we were to add on to the extra, excuse me, insurance, that we just got today, say there's a 20% increase versus a 10%.
Okay.
And that's just building insurance. I mean, I don't know about workers' comp insurance yet. Any of those usually come at the end of this month or next month, like we just received for the building.
So safe to say that that's gonna all be up. Right?
Yeah, and a little one up 10% in the budget, so we'll see.
We won't be able to leave it until we cut it.
Right.
That's where we're at.
So we're at 78 right now, and where's any fat besides EMS and two proposed?
Parking lot, well, that's if you cut the parking lot items.
Yeah, we've got the police department, the operating supplies, and their internet TV is on the parking lot.
The
What is that?
Civic Center also had a parking lot item,
For the rec.
Recreation,
recreation,
right, the job, if we could move out of Fund 10.
and I think they wanted their maintenance increased as well, if I remember correctly.
I didn't have that, I just had the recreation job. What are the funds?
Could be.
Okay, something to think about. Maybe guys go through the budget yourself and see if we can find any place else we need to cut.
We already accounted for the old, what they call the, internet fund or whatever that was.
Cable TV fund.
That all been dissolved and moved around?
I mean, like the fund, the old fund we had
Yeah,
for
we
it,
had a
yeah, I mean,
fund.
that doesn't exist anymore. It's
Fund 20, I think it was.
26, or yes, I don't know. I
And
don't-
we had some money left in it, it's all been
Yeah, everything has gone into the general fund.
drained out. And, let's see. All of our employees, some of them are retiring, some of them are pending. Are they, is that all resolved? Is there a possibility of saving anything there?
Do we add anything?
We accrue it at the end of the year. No, I do not put anything in the budget for it. Anytime there's a leave, there's accrual at the end of the year that I will be learning a little bit more this year. We typically don't budget, well, we have in the past and that was great, but I also am learning that, with the accruals, that puts in to effect, lead time and things like that. I'm not really sure. I'm not like 100% sure on that. I'm still learning that one.
By paying out the last two retirees, you pretty much depleted in one.
I didn't hear you, Rob, what you said.
I said by the last two retirees, by paying them payout amounts, we pretty much depleted the fund.
Right.
I don't think there's
There's like
nothing in
70
there.
something in there, yeah.
So what we did do, so something that we didn't do previously is that, we never took out, in our budget, we never took out their accrual time. We just let them accrue it. We never actually had a dollar amount associated with it. Now she's saying we actually have a dollar amount associated with them hours now that get put in the fund. So when they retire,
We got it.
we have it, but we're still gonna have to figure out if we're gonna have to budget any more money into the fund.
Pretty concerned.
So they ain't doing it years ago.
I'll get that after the explanation. We did have the 30,000 contingency, but I don't know.
Right.
So maybe Nicole can ask Eileen or some of the other people she talks to See if they have any ideas where we could,
Right, when we went over it, we cut 355,000 already out of the budget. So it's gonna be hard to pick it.
well,
But I think there's some opportunities on the EMS side with revenues and some expenses.
opportunities on what side?
EMS,
One thing that's, actually, the one thing that is our shining light is the EMS in this town.
right. Well, and the numbers that we were provided were kind of a conservative number as far as what they're anticipating revenues would be. As
So
far as,
maybe we can,
and our call volumes have been increasing every year, so maybe there's some,
anticipate some more,
right. Okay,
right? So the motion is to adjourn, I think.
Second that.
That was your first, Bob?
Yeah.
All right, second by Tony. All in favor? Aye. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Perfect.